welcome to my North Knit Corner. My name is Anne, and I come to you from the south of Norway, where I live with my husband and our 3 boys. Welcome if you are new, and welcome if you are a returning viewer. I tried to record a podcast yesterday, but the sound didn't work, so I had to wait for my personal help desk to come home from work to fix the sound. Hopefully it works today, and I hope you have some minutes to spend with me. Get your knitting or crochet, something good to drink, and let's talk about knitting. Before we begin, I just want to say that I have information about everything I talk about in the description box below, and I will have timestamps on the episode, so you can skip ahead to whatever you want. Yes. Today I am wearing a sweater called Ingens Sweater by Inga Semmingsen. She's called Vippet av pinnene on Instagram. This sweater I knitted in the fall 2021, and it was a lot of fun to knit. I thought it would be really difficult to get these arrows, but it was very easy, and it's a very good pattern. So everything is very good, or it's described very well. The pattern is also available in English. I knitted this in Drops Flora in the color 2, which is white, and Dale Tynn Kid Silk Erle, also in white. I don't know the color number, but I also used a lot of leftovers from mohair, kid silk, Drops brushed alpaca silk. Yeah, so I got to use a lot of my scraps, so I thought that was great. And I really love this sweater. I think it has a really good fit, and color always makes me happy, so that was a lot of fun. It does peel a little bit, but I don't mind. It's fine. Okay, finished objects. I have 6 finished objects today. It's been a while since I filmed a normal podcast, so then it's a few things to show you. These ones I was knitting on in December, so maybe you have seen them in one of my Advent episodes, but now they are done, and it's the Kushijula socks. Probably not saying that correctly. And it's a beautiful design by Annie Juti Knits. And here they are, beautiful Christmas socks. They are knitted in scraps from a sweater that I knit, and a little bit other stuff. It's the green one, and the red one is from Spøtegan. They recently changed their name, so I think the new name is Mrs. Fox Yarns. I will write it on the screen. And like blue color up here is from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. And I also used a little bit of Drops Flora, just the white. So this was a lot of fun to knit. I'm definitely knitting one more pair of these. As you might see, they're a little bit big. Yes, I could do it. But that's okay. I am the one who's using them, and okay, they are a little bit big, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. The fit around my my leg is fine, and they are just a little bit floppy on the foot, but that's not a problem for me. One of the socks are a little bit wonky. I think it's this one. Yes, it's this one. You can see it. I don't know what happened with this one. I was knitting on it, and then I put it away for a few days, and when I came back to it, I was on the gusset decreases, I think, and I messed up somewhere. I don't know what I did, but I did something wrong. And when I didn't even see it before I was finished with the sock. So yeah, that's okay. They're for me. And the other one is big, but at least it's the right fit. This is just wonky. But the color work, I think, is really nice. If you've been here before, you know color work is not my strong suit, but I really think I nailed it. I'm really proud. I think it was a lot of fun. I think I did well. I didn't tighten too much with my floats, and it's not too loose. Yeah, so it was a good practice, and I'll definitely make one more pair, hopefully one that is fitting me better. So yeah, but I'm happy. I'm really happy. I love them. I have used them, and now I will put them away so I can take them back up when Christmas is coming again. Yeah. Okay. The next one is a sweater. It's the summer date top. I've been knitting on this since August last year, but I finally finished it. I think it was the day before New Year's Eve. I was done with it. It's the summer date top by Strikkrede. This pattern is only in Norwegian, but hopefully it will come in English. It's the size 4. Here it is. I've knitted it in hand-dyed yarn from Kvitlamme in the color Summer Mellow on 2.5 and 3 millimeters needles. So it took quite some time to knit this. It's knitted the bottom up. I prefer top down, so I think maybe that's something that made it go slower, because I don't know, I feel things go faster when I start with the fewer stitches and then increase instead of knitting from the bottom. I don't know, it's probably just me, but it took some time, but it's done. It has this beautiful lace motif on top and on the arms and on the hem. But it's not so easy to see because the color is really noisy. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it's so much happening here that you don't see the lace all that much. So that's I bought this yarn a long time ago for this project, and I don't really know what I was thinking. But actually, I think it's really nice on, and it's very comfortable. It's very soft. I really like this yarn. It's just sock yarn, 75% 25, but it's really soft and nice and squishy. I did do an extra decrease round at the neck. It's supposed to be really wide, so you can take it down on your shoulders, but I don't like that so much. So I did an extra decrease round, and I have elastic in the neck so it won't like fall down. It's also waist shaping. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about waist shaping. I don't think it looks really nice on me, but yeah. I have to see how much I'm going to use this. I'm not sure, but I think it's nice and it's really comfortable to use, so, or to wear. Yeah, so that's a new sweater in the closet. Okay, let me see. The next one is another Musselburg hat. It's a great pattern. It's from Sosial Media, and I'm sure you heard about it a lot. Yeah, it's a favorite hat pattern. It's so great, and yeah. But I don't have the hat here. I had sneaked it in here this morning, but my 7-year-old, he asked if he could use it. Today they're on like a ski trip with the school today, so I said of course he could. So I just put in a picture. So I knitted a Musselburg for him. He got a beautiful package in the mail all the way from Alaska. And I will talk more about that later, but I knitted him a hat in some yarn he got in the mail. So this is the yarn. It really doesn't want to focus. Okay. It's a beautiful yarn with a lot of sparkle in it. It's from Knit 3 Together hand-dyed yarn. It's called Twinkle Twinkle. I knitted the child size on 3.5mm needles. I also used a strand of yarn that I have dyed myself, which was just a really subtle light blue color, because I wanted to have a DK hat to make it warmer. It's pretty cold here right now, so I wanted it to be nice and warm. This was the dominant color, and it just turned a bit lighter, but it was really nice. I wondered if I could put this double, but I was afraid to run out of yarn. And the hat, it weighed 112 grams. So maybe if I would do some yarn management, I could have gotten away with using this one skein double, but I think it's scary to be like, yeah, doing yarn management, because, yeah. But now I have some leftovers, and I'm gonna knit him some socks, I think. Yeah. So that's great. The next finished project is this Mittens. This is Virre Vapp Mittens by A Knit Story. It's only Norwegian, so sorry. It's in the yarn Feel Good Slim, which is the yarn from A Knit Story, and it's in the colorway Cognac. Let me show you. Yeah, it's Eco Highland wool, and I knitted on 2.25mm and 3mm needles. They weigh 40 grams, and a skein is, or a ball of yarn is 50 grams. So I just have a little bit left over. They were a lot of fun to knit, very easy and fast, but I have so many things to knit on that I used a little bit of time on them. But if I just focus on these, they go very fast, and it's a lot of fun with the braid or the cables. Yeah, I changed the number of stitches because they were a little bit big for me. Maybe it's because of my gauge, because I didn't do a gauge swatch. I don't do that for mittens. So that might be it. But I just changed it a bit, and it all worked out, so that's great. I did a mistake on the ribbing. It's supposed to be twisted rib, but I didn't do a twisted rib on the first mitten, and then when I started on the second one, I read in the pattern that it was twisted rib, and I started to knit twisted rib, and then I saw on the other, oh no, I didn't do it for the first one. So then I ripped back and I just knitted the normal rib. Yeah, I would have preferred the twisted because I think it's really nice, but what's done is done. I wasn't going to rip one mitten back just for the ribbing. That was not an option. So I'm happy with these. These are really comfortable. Oh, they are so soft. I love this yarn. It's very beautiful. All right. Then I have a pair of socks, but I don't have them here. They have been gifted. So I will put up a picture for you. It's just DK vanilla sock. The pattern is from a Crazy Sock Lady. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I think it's a great basis pattern. Yeah. I knitted these in Spötegarn, Lubben Merino in the color Pink Dreams. Some leftover yarn. On 3mm needles. They weigh 69 grams. Yeah. The reason I knitted these socks was because I knitted some vanilla socks for my mother-in-law for Christmas. Some green ones. I wrapped them. I put them in a closet somewhere, and when we were opening the presents on Christmas Eve, there were no green socks. She didn't get them, and I couldn't find them. My boys, they took all the wrapping paper out and looked through everything, but we couldn't find that present. So, and I have been looking in all my cupboards. I looked in all my boxes with yarn, and I looked everywhere. I can't find them. They are gone. So my theory is that Santa Claus was very cold on his feet and he just took them. Yeah. So I felt bad. So I had to knit a new pair of socks for my mother-in-law, and that I gifted last weekend. So that was nice. Yeah. The next finished object is a hat. Maybe I talked about it before, but I really want to have a box with Christmas themed hats that I can take out when Christmas is coming, or in the Advent time, and we can use hats with Christmas motifs on. In December, I was doing like a mystery knit along on a hat, Christmas hat handmade by Mona, where you get 3 or 4 rows of a pattern every day, and you knit a hat during the Advent time. So I did that. I have gifted that to my dad, but I started to knit. This hat is called Kalenderlue, calendar hat, and last year was called 2022. and now I have been knitting Kalenderlue 2021 by Handmade by Mona. And I treat it like a mystery knit along. I take just and knit 4 rounds, and then next day I knit 4 more rounds, and I just follow the mystery, even though it's not a mystery anymore. But yeah, that way I don't feel like I have to knit or I don't treat it as a project that it has to be finished really fast. I just enjoy a few rounds, knitting a few rounds every day. And I want to do that throughout this year. There are more of these calendar hats. She has done this mystery knit along for several years. So I want to knit all of the hats. And everyone has this Christmas themed pattern, yeah. But this is from 2021. Here it is. So it's Christmassy. And it's knitted in Rauma Finull in the color 404, which is grey, 439 red, and 432 green. This was a lot of fun to knit. It doesn't feel like a lot of work since it's just a few rows every day. I knitted on 2.5 and 3 millimeter needles. I didn't do a gauge swatch, so I think it's a little bit big, but I don't mind. I think you're supposed to knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, and I can't knit on I can knit on 2 millimeters, but that would be, yeah, I don't enjoy that so much. So that's okay that it's a little bit big. If I don't fit it, my husband will, or yeah. But it was a lot of fun to knit, and it's such a good practice for me with the color work. And I'm really pleased with this too. I think I'm getting into the color work, yeah. That it's not too tight, like I talked about with the socks. It's not too tight on my floats or not too loose. It's just, it's nice. And Rauma Finull is a great yarn for knitting color work. It's very forgiving, so that helps. But that's my first finished Christmas hat for my box. So now I'm going to start a new one. Okay, that's all my finished objects. So I started a hat. It's called the Icebreaker hat. It's a free pattern from Drops Design. It is in English as well. On Garn Studio, I think the website is called. And of course I will link it below. I'm knitting in leftover yarn or things from my stash. It's whole balls of yarn, so it's not really scraps, but it's from my stash. Leftover from other projects. I knit in Drops Nepal, which is the yarn that they recommend in the pattern. And I'm using this light grey. It's number 500 and dark grey 506. So these are my colors. And what I'm thinking is it's just like a easy ribbed hat. It's nothing more, nothing less. What I'm thinking is I'm going to knit along a rib that I can fold up, and then the gray will be, or the dark gray will be on the top. So you see the gray, the light gray on the brim and the dark gray on the top. I'm knitting on 5 millimeter needles, so it goes by really fast, but not for me, because this is just out and about project which I'm just bringing when when I have to wait somewhere or go to the coffee shop or something like that. So that's my icebreaker hat. The next one is Barsk. It's a sweater from A Knit Story, also only in Norwegian. Yeah. It's very nice, easy pattern. It's knitted in Feel Good Chubby. It's 100% wool yarn from A Knit Story. And I knit in light gray on 4.5 and 5mm needles and the size medium. Here it is. Knitted bottom up. And it's a man's sweater, so I feel like it's really big. It's for my son, if I didn't say that. My son, who is 16, almost 17 now. He's so big. Yeah. And I think it's fun because there's something happening on the sides. There's like a rib pattern on the side, both sides. And this goes up from the sides and up to the neck. So it's really cool. I've knitted this before for my husband, but my son, he has stolen that sweater, so he uses it all the time, and my husband really wants it back, so I have to knit this for my son. But I think it's a nice knit. It's fun, or fun. It's not fun, but it's okay, can I say? But I really want to knit for myself. I'm really selfish, so it's not something that I love to knit on, but it's easy. So I've decided to just, or what I've done is knit half an hour almost every day. Not every day, but almost every day. I set myself like a goal. You have to knit half an hour. And on half an hour, I think I get this far. If you see this marker and up, that's about how far I get on half an hour. So when I do that every day, I will eventually have a sweater. It's a really lovely yarn. It's so soft, and it's not scratchy at all. So I think it will be a sweater that my son will love. Yes. Okay, then I'm knitting on Shifty from Tre Knits and Ravelry. I can show the yarn first. I am using this beautiful hand-spun yarn from Virre in Doodlebug Yarn Co. And I think it's so fun to knit with. These beautiful colors. I am also using this yellow from Stulenstrikk, Norwegian hand dyer. And my base color is Rauma Finull in the color 452 light beige. So here we have the colors. And I couldn't get gauge. I tried to do a gauge swatch, but I just couldn't meet gauge. Whatever I did, changed my needles and everything, it's just not possible for me. That's the problem I often have. It's really frustrating. But yeah, that's just how it is. So I did some calculations in my head. I thought they were okay. Decided to try the size 1. I knitted I had split for sleeves, and I decided I had to try it on. That was smart because it was a bit too tight. It was not it was not like, it was almost the right size, so it was a bit annoying. And I can put in a little video of how it looked. Because I've changed a little bit on my color combination, I followed the recommendation in the pattern for when to change colors, and actually I didn't really like it. So all in all, it was good that I have to rip it all back and start again. So I wasn't sure what size to choose, but I chose to knit size 2 on 2.5 millimeter needles. Yeah. No, that's not true. I knitted the size 1 on 2 and 2.5 millimeter needles, but I changed to size 2 and knitted on 2.5 and 3 millimeter needles instead. Yes. So now it's fitting better. It could be a little bit smaller maybe, so maybe I should have kept the needle size. I'm not sure, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's the best I can do. Here it is. And I have one arm done. Since I didn't get to record yesterday, I knitted one arm. Yes, or one sleeve. Yeah. Okay, so I changed the colors a bit, so I just yeah, and I'm happy I did that. I think it looks better, but sometimes the words, yes, sometimes I feel that the yellow I could have been without the yellow. Yes. Oh, it's not always so easy to find the English words, but I try my best. But sometimes I think it's really nice with the yellow in, so I'm not sure. But I'm mostly happy with how it turned out. I did decrease a little bit in the body after I have split for sleeves. But so I think maybe, I'm not sure that was a good idea. I think maybe that have done that it's been a little bit of bubbling. That's not the right word. It's a little I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit of it looks nice in the front, but then like this sweater, you see it goes up. I feel like the back is a little bit like that. Yeah, but it's okay. What's done, it's done. I'm not gonna rip back anything. Hopefully when it's washed it will be better. Yeah, I hope so. But it's okay. It's a nice squishy fabric. I think it's going to be a lovely warm sweater. And the beginning of round is in the back, and it's very easy to see. I think because it's like a line down the back. I think you can see it. And I don't know if I have like tightened too much when I changed the yarn, but hopefully it will even out in washing. I hope so. Yeah, we'll see. But all in all, I'm happy with how it's turning out. So I just have to knit one more sleeve and it's done. So hopefully next time I will have a finished Shifty. Okay. let me change the page in my notes. I've shown this before, but I'm knitting on a Cosy Memories black blanket. And now I've actually knitted quite a lot on it, so I wanted to show you. I am following a tutorial on YouTube by Ina Knits, so I'm just doing exactly as she says, or she shows how to do, and I think that's have worked out really good. I'm using Drops Nord as the border on my blanket, just in a black. I don't know the color number. I'm using or knitting doubles with double strand to get a DK weight, and then I'm just using leftovers or scraps. I have mostly fingering weight scraps, so I knit them double. And all my new I have to find a word. My new square, maybe? All the new squares, let's say that, has like a marker in them, so you can see which one is new since last time I showed you. Here it is. Ooh. Yeah. So there are quite a few new squares. Really, I think this is a lot of fun to knit on. So when I need just something else, if I'm tired of knitting on this, because actually I am tired of knitting on this. Maybe because I have to rip back and start again. But then I just make a square in my blanket, because it's a good palette cleanser, maybe that's the word. Just to sometimes knit on something else that doesn't take a lot of time, because a square, it takes an hour, I think, to knit a square, or 50 minutes. Yeah, so that's fun in between knitting. Okay, I have one more thing on my needles, just a sip of coffee, which was really cold. I had decided that I wasn't allowed to cast on any more big projects before one of my sweaters was done. I have the Shifty and Barsk sweater, but I have had a few tough weeks when it comes to my health, and I was feeling a little bit down, and yeah, so I needed I really wanted to have like a comfort knit. Because there is nothing like casting on something new when you're feeling like a little bit and casting on something new and exciting, and it gives me so much joy, and it's really therapeutic for me, at least. So I had seen the Lace and Fade Boxy by Joji Locatelli first on one podcast. I can't remember which it was, and I wasn't really like, I didn't really think it was something for me. But then I saw Nitty Natty and Love in Stitches, I think it's Love in Stitches, yeah, podcast. She's knitting the Lace and Fade Boxy, and I thought it looked so good, and I was like, oh, I really want to cast that on. I need to cast that on to maybe improve my my mood. But I've decided I don't want to buy more yarn, at least not now, because I have so much yarn and I have so many plans. So then I thought, okay, if you're going to cast this on, you have to find something in your stash. And I have several one skeins of hand-dyed yarn in my stash. So I thought, okay, what can I use? And then I found this one. It's a hand-dyed yarn from Kvitlamme. I think it's called Solskinnsbris, sunshine something. Yes, so I found this. As you can see, it's not a nice neat ball like this. It's actually a ball. Because when I was going to take this on my Swift, it was just all tangled up. I don't know what happened. It was in a nice skein, but when I took it on my Swift, it was something wrong with how it was. Yeah, it was all tangled, so I wouldn't be able to use my what's it called? Yeah. Anyway, to get it untangled, I had to sit on my floor here in my yarn room for about 6 hours. I think I used 6 hours to untangle this and get it into a usable ball. Ugh, so boring. But I'm so thankful there are so many great podcasts out there. So I was watching podcasts and untangled the yarn. But it's really boring when you're like ready to cast on something right away and you have to use 6 hours to untangle the yarn before you can start. Luckily I have a very nice husband, so he helped me a little bit because I was really tired of untangled yarn. But anyway, that's in the past. I have cast on now, so it's all good. And I had to have some other colors for this project, so I had some yarn left from my lapis. So it's this yarn from Spøtegarn. It's called Dumbledore. It has some sparkle in it. And also this is also from Spøtegarn, but I don't have a lot left because I have used it. And it's just this white with green and some gold. Yeah, and some sparkle. And this is also from my lapis. So these, and I needed a mohair. And I only had one whole skein of hand-dyed mohair because I think most of the people who have knitted this have used hand-dyed mohair. And I really wanted to use that. So I had one skein from a Christmas surprise box I had in 21 from Garnbutikken Fortuna. Actually was together with this one. And I had decided to knit the Cargill cowl with these two from Krebe. But I thought, okay, I can take the mohair and I can just pair this with another mohair. I think that will be okay for my Cargill cowl, which I want to knit soon. So here is the hand-dyed mohair. So gorgeous. So I didn't really know how this would look together, but I started. And it's fun to just find some things in the stash to see if they can match. Because I often, or in the past, have often bought just one skein. If I see a skein I really love, I just buy one skein because I don't know what I'm going to knit with it. Yeah, so it's fun to just see what can match. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to match, but it's fun anyway. I love it. Here it is. And one sleeve. So I'm knitting the size 1 but then because it's a lot of positive ease in this, it's boxy, so a lot of positive ease. But for my, I think for my my size would have been 3, I think. But I did go for 1 because I didn't want super much positive ease. But this will still give me a lot of positive ease. And actually, I hit gauge on this one, so I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm knitting the size 1 on 4mm needles. But I am doing the length for the size 4, no, size 5, to get right when I was going to split for the sleeves and everything, or not split for the sleeves because you knit flat in the beginning. So when you connect the whole thing, totally wrong terms here, but yeah, when you knit it all together, that it was long enough that it wasn't too high up. Yeah. So length of size 5, and then I was watching Nitty Natty on her podcast. I think her name is Natalie. Yeah. Anyways, I was watching and she was saying that the sleeve on her boxy, lace and fade boxy, was really tight, and she recommended to go up a few sizes for the sleeve. So I did that. So I have when I picked up stitches for my arm, I picked up for the size 4, and I could have done, I think I could have used the stitch count for the size 3, but this is okay. I have to be careful when it's being washed that it doesn't grow a lot, because it's a super wash yarn, so that has a tendency to grow, but hopefully it won't. If that's the case, I can always re-knit them. It's not a lot of knitting. Yeah. So I just mashed together a few sizes to get the right fit, and I tried it on the other day, and I think it looks good. It's fun. I think this lace part is really fun. It's really easy, but a lot of fun. But it is very tough on my hands to knit with 1 strand of mohair on 4mm needles. It's like, it's really kind of dry, and I feel like it's going to cut my fingers when I knit with it. It's really not a comfortable feeling, but that's okay. I can manage that for a few more rows. I think it's 2 more lace parts left and 2 more stripes. So yeah, I think it's fun. And it did its job. It really, gave me a lot of joy and made my day a little bit lighter. Yeah. I have 1 acquisition to show you, but I haven't bought anything. I've been good. No, I really just want to knit from my stash, so I haven't bought anything. But my son actually got a package in the mail, like I said, all the way from Alaska, from a beautiful viewer. She had seen that my son, he really loves yarn which is sparkly and with color, so she gifted him 2 beautiful skeins of yarn, and that was just so amazing. Yeah, I am so touched, and he really loves the yarn. He loved to open them, and he has ordered socks and hats and all the things. So I showed you this one, a beautiful yarn from Knit 3 Together hand-dyed yarn. It's called Twinkle Twinkle. I don't know if I said that, but this is the yarn that I knit the Musselburg hat in. And he also got this beautiful yarn. From Hats with Attitude. Yeah. So this was just such an amazing gift. So Richelin, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have words for it's just so incredibly kind. And my son, he loves this, and he is going to have some great hats and socks. And yeah, so thank you so much, and I hope I said your name right this time. So yeah, thank you. I also got a beautiful card from just looking if I can see it, beautiful Christmas card from Summer and Summer Knits, and she sent some very good teas. I already enjoy them. and a recipe for some Christmas cookies that I'm excited to try. Yeah, so that was really nice. So thank you so much, Summer, for a beautiful card in the mail. I never get, hardly get any cards or letters in the mail, only the occasional bill in the mail, and that's not so fun. But yeah, thank you so much. So that's my acquisitions. My plans are just the plans that I showed you in the last episode. And if you haven't seen it, you can take a look if you want, where I talk about what I am planning to knit in 2023. I will use my stash. I have yarn for so many projects already, and everything is ready for me to just knit them. So I want to do that this year. It probably will sneak in some other stuff on the way, because I know myself, so that will happen. Like the Lace and Fade boxy, but now I found yarn in my stash for that, so that's okay. But yeah, I will try to knit from my stash, and so far I think that's a lot of fun. Just go treasure diving in the yarn I already have. Yeah. I want to recommend a couple of podcasts today. The first one is Gypsy Bird Makes, and many of you have probably already heard about that podcast, but it's Bethany, and I just recently discovered this podcast, and I really enjoy it. Bethany and her family, they live in an RV, and I think that's really fascinating. She has 3 kids, just like me, and I can't just imagine how it is to live so close in a small space. So I think it's really fascinating, and I love to hear about how their life is. And I really, because she has a few vlogs about her life, and yeah, and they also are about to move to a new state. So I really enjoyed the last few vlogs from her, where she shares about how that is, and yeah. So I can really recommend that podcast. I also really enjoy her podcast episodes. She knits beautiful things, and yeah. And I really enjoy it. She's a lovely person, and I just really have enjoyed her podcast. So Gypsy Bird Makes. And the next one is a really new podcast. It's called The Woolly Worker. It's Vanisha. I hope I say your name right. I think she has about 3 or 4 episodes out. And I saw her first episode a few weeks ago. And you can't even tell that it was her first episode. She was so calm, and it was so, yeah. It was like she has done this a long time. So, and it was really enjoyable to watch. And she has an episode now that where she talks about her knitting journey and some of the things she learned during that time, and showed the things she has knitted, and I really enjoyed that episode. It was a lot of fun. So I am looking forward to seeing more of her and her podcast, The Woolly Worker. So that's the 2 recommendations I have today. A little life chat. We are in a new year, full steam ahead into the month. The kids are back at school. Vacation is over. Yeah, it's busy for them, but they're doing well. And I am sitting here knitting, watching podcasts. That feels like my life at the moment, but I think that's great. But of course there are homework to help with, and a house to clean and all that fun stuff. My health haven't been the greatest the last few weeks, so I'm just taking it easy, taking a day at a time. So I will get through that. In the winter it can often be like that for me, so just the way it is. So I take a day at a time, but I have my knitting and I love to knit, and that gives me so much joy. So and we have no plans for anything the next few weeks, just staying at home. Yeah, that's mostly what I do. Not a very exciting life at the moment, but that's good too. Don't have to do a lot of things all the time. But I have a knitting festival waiting in the future, so I am looking forward to going there, but it's not until March, so yeah, but I have something to look forward to, so I'm happy for that. I think that was everything I had to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I will see you in the next episode in a few weeks. Until then, happy knitting. Bye.